Hey friends, welcome back. In today's video, I have my December wrap up for you guys. I'm really excited to share. It was a pretty good reading month and I'm just going to dive right in. There's a couple that I'm just too excited to share with you guys, and again, just want to jump in and tell you guys about what I read during the month of December. So the first one I read was actually part of Book Sparks. They had a like holiday kind of deal with one of their authors, and you could get either her middle grade read or her picture book series. I opted for the picture book series because I already had the middle grade read series, and so one of the books that was in that package was called The Santa Thief, and this is by Elaine Adams. It came with two other books, but this one obviously fit the holiday theme, and it was super adorable. You get to follow this little boy, Georgie, on like kind of what I would say is maybe a little bit rough kind of a childhood where his parents were saying you can't expect Santa to come all year, and he ends up finding that Christmas isn't really about receiving gifts, it's about giving. And so I thought it was such a cute little message, and the illustrations were beautiful and the story was really cute, so I definitely enjoyed this one. Then moving along, I read Ray and Thine's Snow Angel Cove, which for those of you that religiously watch my videos, you know that I constantly talk about the Haven Point series and my love for it. And this is book one. So I have read 5, 6, and 7 is when I originally jumped in, and I ended up having to go back by the entire series because I love it so much and just wanted to dive in further to these characters, the backstories, all of that stuff. So I ended up reading the first one. It was so perfectly themed because it was all revolving around Christmas, and I absolutely love this town and the characters and the writing, and so this book, again, blew me away. This is a 5-star read for me. So there is that one. Another holiday read that I did pick up and read during the holiday season was Christmas in London. This is by Anita Hughes, and I was really hoping to love this one just a little bit more because I am obsessed with London. I absolutely love it, and of course one of my dreams has always been to go back to London during the winter season, so I thought this would be so perfect to kind of live through and experience it through the read. However, I think while that part was perfect, the story just didn't really hold up as much for me as I anticipated. I felt like there were a little bit too much descriptions in there. I felt like the characters, the females at least, were a little bit basically just kind of did whatever everyone told them to do. It didn't really seem like they had a strong-willed mind of their own, and then the men were a little bit over the top and kind of pushy, and I don't know. I wasn't that crazy about the storyline or the characters. Definitely loved the theme and everything. It was very descriptive with the food, so if you guys follow me on my book account, you know that the opening line about this talks about these delicious cinnamon rolls, so of course I was craving those forever until I actually made some. So I do think this was an enjoyable read during holiday. It just wasn't my absolute favorite. I ended up giving this one 3 stars. Then to kind of change the pace, I went with a thriller that I wanted to kind of get through because I've seen a lot of my friends talk about it and say it was really good. So I had it on my shelf for a while, decided to pull that off, give it a go. And it is Emmet in the Night by Wendy Walker. This one was really gripping and very page-turning, and I think what was super interesting is the fact that these two sisters end up going missing on the same night. You don't really know what happens. It's this huge mystery. They've been gone for 3 years, and all of a sudden one of the sisters shows up. Mystery of the other sister. I mean, I was left guessing this entire time. Every time I thought I had a clue as to where the story was going to go, it definitely got changed and something would happen or some kind of clue would come up or whatever the case may be. But I was definitely wrong, didn't see it ending the way that it did, and so I'm really glad it had that little bit of a shock factor and that twist that just kept it going because it made it so much more enjoyable. I do think there were parts that could have been a little bit stronger for me, so I think that was just one thing that I wasn't overly in love with. I don't know if it was because I didn't care as much about the characters, but I loved the story, I loved the pace, I loved the guessing game, and ended up giving this one 4 stars. Lastly, I did a reread of one of my favorite comics, which is Ladykiller, and I absolutely love this. Between the fashion, the graphics, the coloring, the illustrations, literally everything about this just spoke straight to me. This was the first comic that I've ever picked up, and I basically picked it up because of the cover and the title, and I fell in love with it. It is about our main character Josie, who is like a 1960s typical kind of housewife from the like surface, and then you get this whole other side to her where she kind of moonlights as a like assassin, and it's so amazing to see her balance both ends of things. It is definitely a little gory, but the use of color is amazing. The only time that they use a lot of red is to show like a mood, like anger, a little bit of the blood, but everything else basically goes black at that point. So I think the use of coloring is absolutely amazing in this. So this was a reread, and then the second one, after such a long wait, was finally released. I couldn't wait to get my hands on it. I had it pre-ordered. It showed up the day it showed up. I was reading it that night. I just couldn't wait. So reread, and then went straight into this one and absolutely loved it. Even more so, I think, maybe than the first one, because we get way more in depth with Josie. We get more of her character, more of her strength, watching her branch out on her own and continue this story. So I'm just really looking forward to the series to continue, and I really hope that it just keeps going, because I think each one so far has been able to build not only on the story but the characters, and I just absolutely love it. So I'm really impressed by the series, and if you guys haven't picked it up and you're looking for a really like badass character that is a strong heroine, this is totally for you guys. I highly recommend it, and I absolutely love these. Both of these got 5 stars. All right, you guys, so a little bit short and sweet there with the little reviews, but this is the December wrap-up. I'd love to know what your either favorite read was, or maybe a couple favorites if you had something like that down below. So tell me all about your reading month during the month of December, and stay tuned for my January TBR. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you in the next video. Have a great one. Bye.